join us in the scripture, John 2, 1 through 11. On the third day, a wedding took place in Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied. "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. May God add a blessing to the hearing and understanding of these words.
Christine, thank you. Appreciate that. It is time for the children's message. I don't know if you have any kids old enough. How's it going? Everybody's good? Everybody's okay? What's new? Anything new? Not much new. Hey, you guys want? I got an idea. We're gonna have some fun here today, okay? It's gonna be great. All right. Feel the excitement? Let's have some water. You guys want to have some water? Sit around and chat, have some water?
Well, good luck.
Not too cool. Anybody like Kool-Aid? Huh? Kool-Aid? Who made Kool-Aid like this? Liquid Kool-Aid. Remember being a kid when you had the powdered stuff, you had that sugar? I sure remember. So let's just sit around and have a little Kool-Aid. You guys cool with that? All right. What do you want to talk about? Okay. You don't have to have water. You want Kool-Aid instead? Okay. You guys know what a miracle is? Tell me. What's a miracle? How would you explain a miracle? Is a miracle something that happens every day? Is it something that anybody could do? Anybody can do a miracle? Maybe under the right circumstances. You think you've heard of this miracle that Jesus performed, where he turned water into wine? It was one of his first ones. What I thought was kind of interesting that his mom was there. Isn't that pretty cool? His mom was there when he performed his first miracle. I bet his mom's so proud, huh? As she would be of you guys. And what a misunderstanding that I had throughout that story is I was under the assumption that his mother had asked him to do that. Let's see, one of those words. Isn't that weird? Is that a miracle? Not really. Taste it. See if it tastes okay. I don't even know. Come on up here. Is it okay if they have Kool-Aid?
Yeah, as long as they spill it on your carpet.
Yeah, let's be careful. Does it taste okay? It's really Kool-Aid. Needs more, huh? That's pretty weak sauce. Pretty weak. I know. What flavor is it? Grape, grape. It's grape color. So, his mom was there. I thought that was really cool, right? She was invited to the wedding. Yeah, help yourself. Get on in here. Make room. Claire, do you want some Kool-Aid?
She'll be back.
Okay, good. But his mom didn't ask him to do anything. Did you realize that in the story? No more. His mom didn't ask him to do anything. Your mom or anybody in authority ever asked you guys to do something? Has your mom or dad ever asked you to do anything? I think so, right? Like clean the room?
One time my dad asked me to
Make your bed? Yeah, did you do it? Good, because he trusted you, right? Your mom and your dad, they say, hey, I'm going to ask you to do something. They trust you to do the job asked of you, right? And that trust goes both ways, right? You trust them, right? Are they going to have lunch for you today? You think you're going to have dinner tonight? You're going to have a bed to sleep in? Will your house be warm? Will you be loved? Absolutely. Because you trust them. You trust them to do that for you. They trust you as well. They trust you when they say, hey, go clean your room. Hey, go take care of stuff. And that trust will continue as you become older, too, even as you become young adults. And that's when it gets tricky. Because they want to trust you, and you have to show that you're trustworthy. So you have to be honest, okay, with your people around you. No fibbing, no lying, tell them the truth, okay? Sound right? Okay. And again, just to recap, I just want to touch base that I just thought it was really unique that in the first miracle that Jesus performed, his mom's there, and she was part of that. And I just wonder, what if his mom wasn't there on that particular day? Would there have been a miracle that had occurred, or do you think it would have been delayed till a different time? Yeah. All right, you guys have enough Kool-Aid? Yeah, let's set it out. It's not even much today. All right, you guys want to pray? Let's pray. You don't want to pray? Okay, you just, that's okay. You're trustworthy. Okay, let's pray. Dear Lord.
Dear Lord,
We're blessed in so many ways.
we are blessed in so many ways.
We have people around us that love us.
We have people around us who love us.
They trust us.
They trust us.
They ensure and they are in our best interest.
They ensure and they are in our best
We
interest.
ask you to continue to look over and protect these young people.
We ask that you look over and continue to protect these young people.
Help us guide them to be leaders
Help us guide them to be leaders.
in our name, in your name we pray. Amen.
In your name we pray.
Thanks, fellas.
Amen.
And remember, Jesus loves you.
So do we.
Get out of here. All right? I struggle with that part. I don't know why. It should be the easiest part. Betty does too. Just say it. We flipped for it and I lost. But here we are. Again, thank you. So there we are. The message, a famous, recognizable, famous story we're all familiar with. We know from the very beginning, the water to wine. And as I mentioned with the kids, I just wonder, off the top of my head, curious, would that have happened, do you think, if his mother wasn't there? Her coaxing. Just a thought, just something to kick around later. But again, to begin, this story is so recognizable and famous for so many reasons. The most notable being that this is the first miracle by Jesus. One of four gospel writers in the New Testament, author John presents the account of water being turned into wine. Now, Jesus woke up on this morning simply as a wedding guest, as would the whole community on this day. It was customary to invite everyone to this week-long celebration with the couple and the family. To refuse such an invitation would be an insult towards the family. So of course we're going to go. And it's nice to think that the Son of Man could go out and socialize and just be there, with being one of the fellas. Bring some balance into his life. We've all come to know Jesus as a people person, of course. So this may have been a very relaxed moment in his life to be there with the disciples, with his invited mother, Mary, and also there along with the whole community. Jesus there as a wedding guest, and nothing more. The unwritten law of hospitality then, as it probably is now, is to plan carefully to spare the family embarrassment. And running out of wine at a wedding celebration such as this would have been a major problem. And Mary quietly recognized what was at stake. Mother Mary had some options here at this point. At this very moment, she could have said nothing. She could have informed the staff without incident, quietly alerting them. Though it's thought Mary was not asking her son Jesus for a miracle. Just some help. Just some help to resolve an issue that maybe her son and some of his friends could manage. And Mary, for her part, had no idea Jesus could even perform a miracle. And for the record, perform sounds like a magic trick, doesn't it? I don't want to use that anymore. It sounds cheesy, to be honest with you, but it was a miracle, nonetheless. And maybe Mary, as a mother, had an intuition, but at this point she hadn't witnessed any miracles. Just another guest at a large wedding. Being one of the guys, enjoying the food, the drink, and the entertainment of celebration. Jesus may have been having a great time right then. And at this moment, he's relatively unknown by many. And a break away from the demands of his ministry may have been quite welcome. This changed in an instant with a simple statement. Not a question, not a demand, from his widowed mother. Mother Mary never really asked Jesus to fix the problem. She did what a lot of moms do. They point out the obvious. Your room's a mess. The garbage is full and the grass needs cut. That was a laugh. I'm okay with it. The response back to his mother, it seems kind of harsh, doesn't it? There's several different, in one, woman, he refers to her as woman, which seems kind of cold, I believe. But this is in the day. This is in the time. And again, Mother Mary never asked for anything. She suggested. But I'm personally 100% on board. This isn't the problem of an invited guest. I think I'd respond the same way. I'm just here for the good times. Just a wedding guest. And further, he did not agree to procure more wine, as Mary had insinuated that he should do. He did not commit. He even told her, "This isn't my time." Yet she trusted him to do the right thing, to obtain more wine and spare this family, the newlyweds, and the community any embarrassment. Mary did not know what her son Jesus was capable of, but she carried that mother's intuition, most likely. She also supported him. Without any confirmation of okay, or even a grunt that I'll think about it, Mary supported her son. She lined up the help needed to make this wine happen. She had the servants do anything he asked. Mary did not ask for a miracle. She asked for help. A miracle would require scribes, priests, or wizards. She asked the servants for help. In the Bible I use to help me prepare here, the New Living Translation Bible explains best the setting of the story and a segue into conversation of the upcoming sabbatical of our Pastor Jane this summer. And for simplicity's sake, from this point on, we're going to refer to it as clergy renewal. is our term from sabbatical moving forward. And this is the setup to the story in the Bible. This is the setup before this miracle. And I'm going to read it to you. Jesus was on a mission to save the world, the greatest mission in the history of humankind. Yet he took time to attend a wedding and take part in its festivities. We may be tempted to think that we should not take time out from our important work for social occasions. But maybe these social occasions are part of our mission. Jesus valued these wedding festivities because they involve people. Our mission often can be accomplished in joyous times of celebration with others. Bring balance to your life by bringing Jesus into times of pleasure as well as times of work. Unquote. That was the setup to the story before he becomes a miracle worker, a miracle producer. Now this, again, as we leap into our discussion about renewal, this is our first intro into the renewal, which will be occurring this July, August, September of this year. This is only information. The material you're going to hear today was gathered from the same resource in 2008. The book Clergy Renewal, the Alvin Guide to Sabbatical Planning. If you're not aware, this congregation backed a 3-month clergy renewal in 2009 with Pastor Janet. We've been here before. I feel comfortable speaking about this. I feel certain that this is in the best interest of our church, of our pastor, past, present, and future. I'm not trying to sell anybody a bag of goods. I certainly am not. I'm just bringing forward information. Let's touch base quickly on 5 reasons why to give and plan clergy renewal. Number 1, encourage a longer pastorate. And we'll go on and explain a bit later. Number 2, the role of a spiritual leader. Personal and professional development is 3. Number 4, burnout prevention is a reason why to give and plan clergy renewal. And lastly, congregation self-sufficiency. We'll knock that one out of the park here in a little bit. We're not going to be much longer, folks. 4 points of importance, though, I want to make sure that we all are clear on and transparent of. Number A, clergy renewals are not extended vacations. Full salary and benefits will continue to our pastor. The church does not fund a clergy renewal. And pastors should continue to serve 1 year following. In place, presently we have our clergy planning team. We will meet again this Wednesday the 20th. We met once before. We are well in the planning of a sabbatical. The pastor is going to present an outline to this team, address all concerns from the congregation, and address all concerns from our Pastor James. A reference, please, to begin may be to break down the things that we're certain of in this. This is not viewed by the church council or pastor as a bonus or extended vacation or simply a job well done. This is written in the contract we offer to our pastor, specifically stating that after 5 years of service, this is part of your employment package. Pastor Jane will have been with us 7 years by this summer. Full benefits and salary continue as this is budgeted for and expressed contractually. There's no obligation by the church to pay for any of the expenses incurred while our pastor's away on renewal. Examples being travel or lodging fees. Financial gifts are okay. A last note of importance for the contract signed by both the employer, that's us, that's this church, we're the employer, and the employee, that's the sitting pastor, past, present, and future, is after clergy renewal, the pastor will remain at least 1 year following renewal. That's in the contract we present. We must take time to address our number one concern this morning, attendance. You may be thinking to yourself, we struggle now to get people to join us on Sunday mornings. How could we possibly manage for 3 months? A fair concern. Pastor Jane feels the same way. Worried about us. Our employee is worried about us. But this is happening all over the country now. It's having a negative effect to the point the rate of resignation is soaring within the clergy of all faiths throughout our country. Committing to this renewal. Quoting the book mentioned earlier, Clergy Renewal, the statement bringing to service, quoting the book mentioned earlier, a statement brings it to the surface. It would be unreasonable to expect that every member of the congregation will support this renewal with equal enthusiasm. That's a given. Not everybody's on board with this, especially this time around. It seemed a bit easier 12, 13 years ago. There seems to be an angst to make this work, but we need to commit to this renewal. And why would HCC, why would Hayden Congregational Church offer clergy renewal to the past, present, and future pastors? The 5 reasons listed. Encouraging the retention of a pastor in a church is paramount to any church's success. Protecting our primary asset, who's more focused on God's positive direction rather than other people's agendas. The delay and the decline in progress in search of a new pastor would be a setback for us. The role of the spiritual leader is why renewal is offered. In a vocation that only gives to the flock and rarely receives, the demands are physically, mentally, and spiritually draining. Personal and professional development is also why clergy renewal is meaningful. In this, a time to receive and nurture, not to give and support. Recharge the soul to reach the true potential to allow for continued spiritual growth. The demand of ministry is why the church offers clergy renewal, to avoid the burnout. A gentleman maybe some of you recall by the name of Hal Youngblood came to visit us years ago. Just an easygoing fellow. Talked about how much he liked pie. Just say that. We get in a crunch and things are difficult. He goes, I just like pie. And all of a sudden things were better for him. But what he said when he came to visit with us back here about a sabbatical years ago, he said this: over-functioning pastors equal underperforming congregations. Over-functioning pastors equal underperforming congregations. Seems right. He had a word for it. He had his own word for it. He called it compassion fatigue. It's proven the helping professions like emergency care, extended care, nurses, cops, and clergy are all prone to burnout the fastest. The last of the reasons why to offer clergy renewal is the benefit that the congregation will become more self-sufficient, not overly dependent on any clergy. Our pastor inspires us to become disciples and leaders, to give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. And I know this is a tough sell. To hand over the ownership of the church to the owners. But this is what we are up against. And as a unit, as a team, we need to pull together in the same direction. I hope we can accomplish that. I am on the fly here. Not sure whether to add this last bit. I'm going to. It seemed fitting at the time. This was from The Parting Blessing, 2008. What's that, 14 years ago? 2008, September 2008, The Parting Blessing. I'm going to share this with you. This again is in hopes we can all work together this summer. Listen, Lord, I know you need everyone to help, but I'm really not the person. I'm not good enough. I don't have the talents everyone else seems to have. I don't know why you're asking me. Surely there are others who are much more qualified than I am. I just can't do this right now. I know you understand. I don't know why I had that tucked away after all these years, but dug that out, and I thought it would be impactful this morning. I don't know how it will be received, I really don't, but we threw it out there. Lastly, last point. If we circle back to our scripture setting, Mother Mary did not ask her son Jesus for a miracle, turning that water into wine. With a gentle, loving mother's nudge, she trusted the wedding guest would do the right thing. Thank you for your time.